Brahma Gurur Vishnur Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. The topic for today is Sadhana. Sadhana is referred to as spiritual practice, is referred to as a process of transformation. And the root word is Siddhi, Siddha. So the goal is Siddhi, to achieve mastery over a certain goal, aim. And the person who is performing or engaged in the process is sadhaka, and the process and the practice becomes sadhana. And everything that we do, whether it is on the mat or off the mat, is a sadhana in itself. We have been used to seeing or approaching sadhana just to a 1 hour practice on the mat of asana, pranayama, dharana, mantra, and the other techniques. That's surely a very good foundation and platform to train the body and mind. But what is important is that this awareness continues with us off the mat. Because out of 24 hours, 1/3 of it is perhaps gone in sleep. And then the remaining of the day, out of that 1 hour is maybe 2 hours. Some people can find time in practice for 2 hours. But what about the remaining almost 15 hours or so, 12 to 15 hours? So it's very important to approach every moment as sadhana, the way we conduct ourselves. And this is when yoga becomes a way of life and a lifestyle. From a practice, it has to move to becoming a way of life and a lifestyle. And it starts on the mat, but it goes to off the mat. And it should reflect in the way we approach situations, the way we treat other people, the way we contribute to society, and the way we conduct ourselves throughout the day. Now, there's never going to be a perfect day or behavior or action. We'll always have ups and downs and back and forth. But that is the whole process of sadhana. We keep striving, we keep working on refining and changing and improving, rectifying. So the practice on the mat becomes a training ground for the experience of the mat. And in this regard, whatever aim that we have set for ourselves is very important. Because without that, it can often lead to lack of motivation or even a loss in direction. And if we don't know where we are heading, it's also, the path might not be clear. And this is a very common occurrence initially, but once we find the path, or say we find a source who shows us the path, then we have to stick to the path and commit to a daily effort. This becomes sadhana. When we find out the aim, because until the siddhi that we're aiming at, and by siddhi I don't mean supernatural or psychic powers, but what is the end that we are all aiming for? For some it can be to live a healthier life. For some it can be to be a better human being. For some it can be to reach the highest potential of the spiritual path. For some it can be liberation. So there are different levels of approaching this, and sadhana becomes a very important ladder towards this goal of transformation. Essentially, sadhana is the highest purushartha. We can say the 4 aims of life: dharma, artha, kama and moksha. And in the modern times, artha and kama, material wealth and pleasures, they have taken the forefront. But when sadhana becomes the main guiding force in a life, dharma becomes a natural process. And then even the artha and kama, our wealth and desires, are channelized towards a higher cause or a higher purpose. We don't just keep accumulating for ourselves. We cultivate awareness and we realize that the world needs help. It's not only about us. So although sadhana might seem on the surface a very individual, personal, or even selfish pursuit, it is certainly a very self-oriented pursuit. But there comes a time where sensitivity is enhanced through these practices and this process, and we begin to see that there is a lot of suffering and discomfort in the world, and we do our bit. It can be as simple as helping somebody in need, smiling at a stranger, being kind to people, cleaning the society from time to time, waste segregation. These are all small but important acts, and they are also sadhana in itself. The food we eat, the way we cook the food, what is the consciousness while cooking and eating the food? What about a routine, sleep, hygiene, and wake up time? And how do we moderate technology? All of this becomes a sadhana in itself. And that is the effort we have to make, because the fruits of the actions are most likely not in our hands. There is a higher agency, and we also believe in the fruits of past karma. But through sadhana, we can improve the karma and the karmic pattern of our life. We can become more resilient to the fluctuations of the mind, emotions, and circumstances of life. And sadhana becomes the anchor, because in today's time it's very difficult to maintain inner peace and health all the time. So for that, sadhana becomes a very important step in itself. And I hope this serves as a motivation to deepen your sadhana or get back to your sadhana if there has been slacking. And most importantly, approach every moment as a sadhana in itself. Hari Om Tat Sat.